everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and today is going to be my 12-week pregnancy update. We finally made it to 12 weeks, and late last week I did have my genetic testing. They took blood. There are a couple of different genetic tests that you can do. Using the blood, they take the baby's chromosomes out. And the one I'm doing is the panorama. So it checks for a lot of different things, and it will also tell us the gender. And it takes 7 to 14 business days. Hopefully I'm on the lower end of that time frame because I really want to find out, I want to make sure baby's okay, and I really want to find out the gender. At the appointment, it was just pretty standard stuff. They did the scan, checking a couple of markers to see if there were any sort of issues. Everything checked out normally. Baby's growing really well. The heartbeat was 169 beats per minute, which is great. There was one problem with my own part of the scan. I have a hematoma, which is a little blood clot in my uterus, and they said it should work itself out. I could have some bleeding if it does work itself out, and it's not cause for alarm. I didn't have any spotting whatsoever with Olivia the entire pregnancy, and so far this pregnancy I haven't had any spotting either, so it'll be a little bit scary, but I'm glad that they told me that I can expect that, because if I were to start bleeding, I would totally freak out if I hadn't known already. So they said if it's just a small bit of blood, it's just that working out. If it's like period level blood, I need to come in. It was really reassuring to get that information. But other than that, everything checked out well. I got to talk to the doctor a little while, and she refilled my Zofran prescription. I have one more pill left. They gave me 20 pills. So far I've taken Zofran 19 different days since I got the prescription. It actually is only supposed to last like 6 or 8 hours or something like that. You can take it repeatedly during the day, but I just need it during the morning. There hasn't been a day I've had to take 2 doses of it. So far I've taken it 19 times, and this is very different from my pregnancy with Olivia. I did end up taking like Zantac and Tums here and there, but nothing to where I'm taking a medicine, a prescription pretty much every day. And also I told her my heartburn's just been really crazy, and she prescribed Pepcid, which I'm not really into the proton pump inhibitors. That's what Pepcid is. I usually just take Zantac or Tums. Those ones aren't as heavy duty as things like Pepcid, but I was desperate and I took it yesterday for the first time, and I didn't feel nauseous the whole day after taking it. And so I'm thinking most of my nausea right now is coming from the heartburn. So in the morning I have really, really bad heartburn and really, really bad nausea. And I was attributing it just to the morning sickness, nausea hormones, maybe the empty stomach, but I think it's because I'm having such bad heartburn. So I've been taking the Pepcid. You take it twice a day, and I've been just taking it the last like day and a half. So I've taken 3 doses of it now. I've not been nauseous hardly at all. Just that very beginning of the morning, take the medicine, and I felt so much better the last couple of days. So it's not something that I want to take like long term. I was planning on taking it maybe another day and then seeing how I do off of it and kind of go from there, but it's really helped. And I'd rather take, one medicine that helps with both versus having to take the Zantac and the Zofran. I am also at that 12-week mark, which somewhere between the 12 and 14-week mark, a lot of morning sickness really decreases. And the doctor said something like, it's just kind of like magic. It's like one day you're really sick, and then the next day you're fine. And it just improves magically like that. So I'm kind of waiting for that. Still, the last couple of days I felt really bad in the morning, bad enough that I needed the medicines, but it's really promising that we're getting to that point, and I'm noticing some relief, especially with the medicine, with the Pepcid. It was just like a night and day difference once it started kicking in. I could totally tell, like even the days I was taking the Zantac and taking the Zofran, I would still have a really like low level nausea feeling all day. Basically didn't matter eating or drinking, I would have that low level of nausea. Even just like walking around, I would feel really nauseous. The Zofran was just enough to make it so I didn't throw up all the time. I'm really glad I had the Zofran. It did help quite a bit. It took it from being completely unbearable to manageable, and the Pepcid took it to where I feel really good. Today so far I'm feeling great because I took the Pepcid in the morning. I did have to take the Zofran because I was about to puke this morning, and it seems like just the first like hour to hour and a half of the day is really, really brutal. After that, I've eaten enough, I've taken medicine if I've needed it, and it seems to be the rest of the day slowly gets better, and by the evening, I'm feeling great aside from feeling exhausted. I'm still having a lot of tiredness. I'm still going to bed really early most days. But anyway, let's go back to the appointment. I was really glad to get the medicine and also find out about the potential spotting issue because I would have freaked out about that had I not known. I'm glad that baby is doing great. I do have scans, so I will insert pictures for you guys on the screen so you guys can see. I just don't have them with me. I left them downstairs, and me going up and down the stairs just totally makes me pant and breathe really hard, so I'm not gonna go up and down and grab them. I feel like even talking I get a little bit winded. Oh, one thing from the scan, I totally forgot this. I have a tilted uterus. It's tilted back, and she could not get the scan through my stomach. There was a couple of angles she could get, but I had to do the transvaginal ultrasound again. So that was kind of annoying having to do the transvaginal one again. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's just really uncomfortable. I think that covers everything from the appointment, so I'm gonna go ahead and work down my list of notes here. I have the standard questions I go over every week. So first thing, baby is the size of a plum. It's like 2 inches long, which seems really small. And I keep like thinking my stomach looks huge. I look very pot-bellied, and I think people at this point would question if I'm pregnant or if I'm just really chunky. And it's hard to believe baby's only the size of a plum, like only really small, 2 inches long. And you know, there's amniotic fluid around the baby. And so that takes up some of the room too, but it's just ridiculous how large I look for how small the baby is at this point. I've had a couple of new symptoms this week, and they're not necessarily anything terrible. They're just kind of noteworthy things. One thing is I'm having more of those round ligament stretching pains. I get them more frequently, just especially the last few days I've had them more frequently. It just means babe's growing, uterus is growing, and it's very normal. It's not super painful. If I twist the wrong way, sometimes it can be painful, but overall it's just kind of there and kind of annoying. I've also had a couple of lower back aches, and this has to do with me bending. I am having major trouble bending down, like bending down to pick up something. I really feel it in my lower back, and I also cannot bend down like I normally would. There's too much stomach in the way. So now I have to kind of like bend using my legs versus like at the waist because there's just too much belly, and I'll be like sitting in a chair and, you know, needing to reach something on the ground. I can no longer just like bend down and do it. I have to like get up and not squish my belly at all. And I feel like that did not happen to me until way, way, way later in Olivia's pregnancy. I just feel so early, and I'm just surprised that things are happening so much earlier this time. I don't remember having any kind of back aches or pains or anything this early with Olivia as well. I feel like that was like 3rd trimester type thing, but your body definitely remembers things. Lingering from last week, I've told you the heartburn and the nausea, they've still been troublesome this week, and I think I found the right medicine. I think I figured out the problem. As far as cravings go, I've been craving some things that are spicy, and so that even contributes to the heartburn. It makes it worse, but I just am craving things. I've been craving salsa. I basically just eaten the salsa with a spoon. I take the chips and I dip them and get as much salsa on the chip as possible, and then I will dip the same chip. I'm the only one eating the salsa, so I'm totally allowed to double dip, but I'm basically using the chips as spoons, and it's really, really good. I made the same recipe now twice. It's the Pioneer Woman salsa. It's really, really good, and I figured out it made 7 cups of salsa. I ate 7 cups of salsa in 2 days last week. So I made the new batch this week, and so far I've eaten like 1/3 of it. So probably like 2 cups worth of it. And it's just so good. I cannot get enough of it. It's got cilantro and lime in it. And you guys know I've been really all about the lime, and especially with the cilantro mixed in, it's just one of my favorite combinations right now. And going along the same spicy route, I have been craving jalapeno poppers. I really wanted like melty, cheesy things, and the jalapeno poppers is it. They are just the bomb, and I love them. So definitely those 2 things have really contributed lately to the heartburn. I'm gonna really try to take it easy on the spicy things, keep up with the Pepcid as needed. Anyway, I have had other cravings. I've been craving chocolate milk, so I got some. I ended up getting like a little bottle, just like a single serving bottle of that Promised Land chocolate milk. I've heard other people raving about it, and that stuff is like pure sugar. It's like drinking ice cream, and I could not stomach that one at all. I'm really glad I got the one that I really like, which is the Fairlife one, and it doesn't have nearly as much sugar as most chocolate milks. It has, I think it has 12 grams of sugar per cup, where most of them are like 30 grams and up. The Promised Land one is like that. It's got like 30 grams of sugar in it, and I just couldn't stomach that. But the one that has the less amount of sugar, I love the Fairlife one. I also saw a recipe for Southern style green beans and had to make it that night. I just really needed the green beans, so I made it and I ate them for breakfast the next day. Like, they were so good and I still want more. We ate all of them now at this point and I want more. I'm definitely gonna get the ingredients to make that again. It was just so good. I just love green beans right now. I'm definitely over the asparagus thing. We ended up freezing some of it for later on. And then the last thing I've been craving is Sonic slushies. So I really used to like the real fruit lemon slushy. It was just, they put a little bit of like lemon flavoring in and then fresh lemons. They squeeze fresh lemons in it. So it's super sour and tart. And this was like years back that I used to love these. And since then, they have replaced it with frozen lemonade and it tastes like, you know, artificial lemonade and it's not as good. So I found this time around that I like the blue raspberry one. So I've been craving the blue raspberry one. I've gone a few times during their like half price hours and picked up slushies. And I actually wanted one so bad. As soon as I dropped Olivia off one day, I went to Sonic and got one first thing in the morning and I went and set it on my car and it fell off and I almost ugly cried. The neighbor was outside and I was talking to him. So thankfully, like, he distracted me from my first, what would have been my first huge pregnancy meltdown because I dropped it. And I only had like 2 sips of it by the time I had gotten home with it. So I had to go back out and get another one at the half price time that day. Just so upset about that slushie. I'll get the large one and have it for 2 days. So it's been a few days since I even had any. I'll probably end up going and getting one the next couple of days because I'm still kind of craving it. You know, it's pure artificial stuff and sugar and so delicious, but I love the like sour and sweet of the blue raspberry flavor. I really wish they still had that real fruit lemon one. They just don't have it anymore and they don't make it right when I've tried to ask them for it again. Anyway, so that's basically all I've been craving and that's basically all I wanted to eat. I am so sick of other food. I'm so sick of soup and ramen and crackers and bread and anything like that. I'm just so sick of anything that's bland and the same stuff I've been eating now for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I just want these things. Like, I could just live on jalapeno poppers, chocolate milk, slushies, green beans, and salsa. Like, that's all I want to eat all day, every day, the last week or so. So as far as aversions, I would just say anything else, anything that I've been eating over and over again. I'm just so sick of it. It makes it really hard to eat every couple of hours when you're so sick of the same stuff you've been getting. I've been trying to add new things to the grocery list to just kind of like spice it up since I have to eat all the time. There was one night, which could have been my almost second pregnancy meltdown. I was like, oh, I just cannot stomach eating soup and I have to eat again. And Johnny's like, okay, what do you want? Like, I will go get whatever it is you want. And I was like, I can't think of anything. Everything sounds disgusting. That was the night I told him the only thing I really can think that I want is jalapeno poppers. So he went to the grocery store and got me some frozen ones and now I can make a few at a time. As far as weight, I'm up 1 more pound this week. That is up to 172 and that's 5 pounds since getting pregnant. My doctor did say she wanted me to be around 25 pounds gained since I was already 10 pounds heavier than when I got pregnant with Olivia. So I don't think that's gonna happen. I just feel like I gained almost 40 pounds with Olivia. I expect it to be around that same kind of number. And at this point, like, I don't care. I'm eating what I can eat and what I can stomach because I've been just so nauseous and feeling so miserable. And I feel like once I get out of this first trimester, I can work on being a little bit healthier when I'm not just so sick and feeling nasty all the time. As far as new discoveries, the Pepcid was just a big time eye-opener, realizing that the heartburn was causing so much of my problems. And comparing this pregnancy to Olivia's pregnancy, it was very different. I feel like her pregnancy at this point started going much smoother. It's kind of good for me to watch those other updates because I realize, you know, it does get better and it keeps me from being like really down about it. Like, gosh, this is lasting forever. I can't believe this. I see in those updates, I'm starting to feel better and better. And it gives me hope that it's gonna happen, you know, in the next week or two, possibly. There were a couple of best things that happened this week. One, we did end up getting our play date with our friends and it was awesome. It's just 4 moms and 4 kiddos that get together and the kids were so good. They have class together, so they're used to seeing each other every weekday anyway, but they played together so great at the park. They would like break off in pairs of 2 and then they would play independently and then all 4 of them would play together and I got so many cute pictures of them. It was so great to catch up with them. It's been a really long time since we've gotten the kids together. We're supposed to actually meet today, but 2 of the kiddos are sick and so there's only 2 of us that are gonna meet today. I think I'm gonna bring Livy's scooter so that they can ride their scooters together and it'll be really fun. The kids get along so great, and that's not to say that they don't have little tiffs here and there. They definitely do, and they want to play different things, and they get kind of irritated at each other too, but it's so great that overall they have a really good relationship and they can play. And this is like Olivia's first like real friends that she sits and plays with, and she talks about these friends when she comes home from school, and it's just really heartwarming to see these relationships develop. That's something I'll touch on really quick. We are keeping her in the same school. It is a much further drive for me to drop her off. It used to be about a 15-minute drive, and now it's about a 30-minute drive. So it's definitely an increase. It's definitely a dedication for me to keep her in the same school, but I just love, love, love her teacher. She's made really good friends in the class. I love just how the school is run. It is a Montessori program that she's in, and we just love it. So she is going to be going back next year for sure. And actually starting in the fall, she's going to start going later. So it'll be like right at the time when we're having baby number 2. So it'll give me a little more time with baby number 2, and it'll give Livy more time in a learning and fun environment. She just loves school, and every day she asks to stay later. I pick her up at noon, and most of the kids stay till 3. There's only a handful of us that pick up at noon. So she always asks, like every day, can I stay later? And I tell her, starting in the fall, you will. We already have enrolled her and filled out everything. Another best thing that happened was Johnny got his time off for our vacation. We are taking a 2-week vacation. I talked about it in the budget update video. I'll link to that down below for you guys. Johnny also gets a perk, like for so many years, they get extra weeks off. They call it a sabbatical. And so he signed up to take his first sabbatical. He's gonna have 5 weeks off in June, so it's gonna be a really fun month. We've got a couple of things planned along with our beach vacation. Olivia is also gonna be out of school for the month of June, so I'm just really excited to have both of them home, and I should be feeling a lot better by then. It's gonna be so much fun to spend 2 weeks at the beach. We're gonna go visit Nana and Papa and spend some time with them, and we've got a couple of other excursions planned, and it'll be a really fun time. This is just one of the great perks he gets with his company. He also does get paternity leave. He's really lucky that they started that actually in 2015. They started offering paternity leave, and that was right when we had Olivia. So he did get some time off. I think he can take up to 8 weeks, but he only ended up taking off 4 weeks because we felt like things were good and he was really itching to get back into his normal routine. He does really love his job, which is a big time blessing. So I don't know how much he'll take off this time, at least the first couple of weeks, especially if I do end up with a scheduled C-section. I'll need him there. Grandparents are also probably gonna come visit and help out as well, but it'll be great to have him home and not have to worry about him having to rush back to work. Going into the worst thing was just hating all food pretty much, except the few things I've been craving. I just like looking at cereal. I've been eating Chex and honeycomb, and just looking at the cereal, it just churns my stomach to think about eating the same things over and over again. The only thing on my agenda for this week I actually just did. We ordered a microwave. It can heat up leftovers easier, and it just makes it more convenient. When I'm feeling like crap, I don't want to have to be in the kitchen cooking everything that I eat. I want to just be able to pop something in the microwave for a minute and be able to eat. So I think that'll help a lot, being able to have more options with a microwave. Like I could get a big pot of green beans and heat up a bowl in the microwave in a minute or two, and there's a meal for me to have every 2 hours. If I want to eat green beans every 2 hours all day long, I can. But right now, it's a lot more effort to have to heat up the green beans. I use a lot more dishes that way, and it's just kind of a pain. That should be here in a couple of days. My last thing on here is to answer questions. I don't really have questions from you guys, so if you guys have questions, leave them down below. I'm gonna go ahead and show you my belly now. Let's scooch this chair back. I'm on her little foam mat now. And I don't know if you guys can see down there, she's got her Hot Wheels track out, so I'll try not to mess with it. It's kind of bad to do these videos in the playroom because there's always stuff everywhere. So there's the belly. I feel humongous. I especially feel like bending. I'm feeling pressure now. Like I can't bend all the way without feeling major stomach pressure there. And it does feel super firm, the lower down especially. Like this all feels super tight and firm. Less so up here, like this is more soft, but when I get lower down, it feels really tight. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.